Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Confessions. Everyone wants to confess, not everyone wants to hear them. Today, after many technical difficulties, I'm joined by the wonderful, the legend that is Stephen Tobolowsky. Welcome.
Hello, Sammy. Finally, good to connect
I
with you.
know. It
It,
is
it's
so
been
frustrating.
gruesome.
Oh, it's been absolutely gruesome. We've been through the weeds this morning. I had a power outage on my street, which didn't help, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. And you kindly tried this system called
But I
Riverside. I'll
am
give them a non-plug.
I am almost 75, which means that this is way beyond me. You know, I should be upstairs in bed watching TV. I shouldn't be doing anything that revolves around Zoom or cameras or anything.
You were very kind to actually try, and I could see you trying. It wasn't like I was going to a store and I said, maybe you have my size out the back and they pretend to look. I could tell that you were actually trying to make it work. Yeah, yeah, I couldn't see you ducking down and
Yeah.
just pretending that you were going out back. But Stephen, we've spent a bit of time together over the years, and we've done this podcast a few times before. We've talked about many times how work changed for you in the US during the writers' strike. We spoke during the pandemic. Where are you now at almost 75, as you said? Where are you now in your career and life?
Well, I would like to ask you
Mm.
and anyone who's listening, where is the entertainment industry now?
Well, it
Where
feels
are
quite
you
dire.
now?
Yeah.
Because I got to tell you, here in California, Hollywood,
Mm.
which is kind of where I live,
I've heard of it.
yeah, there is no Hollywood really anymore. I mean, what
Wow.
we always used to do at this time of the year was what's the new television season? With
Hmm.
our three main channels, ABC, NBC, CBS. Oh, here's must see TV Thursday night. We have Seinfeld. We have All in the Family. We have all these shows,
Mm.
one day at a time that I did with Norman Lear. Uh, uh, where are all of these shows? Where are all of these networks? And the thing is, they don't really exist anymore. I mean, they kind of exist, but
Mm.
it's not the same thing that it used to be a few years ago. So if you take away, and when was the last time you went to a movie theater, Sammy?
Well, I can say I actually went last night, but
Oh, well,
I'm
that
a
ruins
rare
the whole
example.
thing.
I will
That,
say for you alone, I will say before that, it was about a year before I went before that.
right. And I don't know about you, but I was a movie guy.
Same,
And
same.
I would
Yeah.
often go to movies three, four times a week and go to
Yeah.
movie theaters, big theaters, little theaters. I'd see foreign films. Also, I'd see everything. I just was a movie buff. And
Yeah.
now there's no movie theaters anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
they have the AM whatever,
Mhm.
but they're showing all the same movie.
Yeah.
The one movie that comes out. Uh, this was the second year I did not vote for the Academy Awards
Wow.
because I'm thinking, well, where are the movies we're voting on?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
are the movies that happened? And so I can say it is in a state of flux. It is in a state of change, and I don't know where the change is going to land. I don't know
Yes.
if it's going to land that we're going to end up with a new sort of technology where we can watch any and all sorts of things on our computers more than we can now. And we're not going to have TV sets anymore. You know what I was just throwing? My wife was just throwing away? The VHS players.
Oh, wow. You've hung on to that for a long time.
I'm going to keep one for all my VHS tapes I still have, but we're
Yep.
throwing them all out. We're taking them to charity, just saying, here, strip them down for parts. And so
Wow.
there is a transitional period, much like with the dinosaurs went through. And so
Yep.
the issue is, are we going to, in the entertainment industry, die out? Or are we going to turn to beasts of the air?
Yeah.
Are we going to turn into new creatures that do new things? Now, I'm lucky because I've had my career, and I still do voiceover all the time because
Hmm.
there's still cartoons, there's still commercials. I still do voiceover all the time. But film and television, what I've done recently is I've done independent projects that were
Hmm.
films, like with Corbin Burnson. We
Yes.
did an independent project that premiered at South by Southwest, and we won both the juror award and the audience award for that. And then we just finished the Denver Film Festival, where we also won the audience award. So I'm thinking like, well, this is terrific, and it's a little film that Corbin financed,
Hmm.
and he is turning it into a pilot for what he wants to be a Netflix series. And I think from the audience reaction, maybe it could happen because the
Yeah.
audiences absolutely love this show. Uh, and so we're waiting to see what that happens. But that was homegrown project by Corbin,
Hmm.
directed by his son Oliver, and partially edited by his other son. So it's a
Wow.
family affair,
Yeah.
and he gets his friends to be in it, and it's like the old days when I first came out to L.A. I had no idea what to do, where to go, or what to do, because all I knew was theater.
Sure.
That back
Sure.
then, that thing that we called theater.
Yeah.
So what I did, and what a couple of my friends, Jim McClure and Frederick Bailey, did, we wrote our own plays. And then we cast our friends in them, and then we rented a space in downtown Hollywood, like a little tiny theater that held 50 people,
Yeah.
and we would do our plays, and we would hope someone would see them. A producer would see our plays and then say, hey, do you want to turn this into a movie that'll be in a movie theater? And so that was the game we were playing then. So we're on to a new game, Sammy.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think it's kind of gone back to that time of lots of kids getting together? Like certainly when I, was growing up, it was we've got an old barn, let's go and put on a show. It was always,
Absolutely.
do you think it's gone back to that?
Absolutely. But maybe our old barn is Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah,
The Opera House, that's an old barn.
I have I have been to the Sydney Opera House,
Yeah,
and I'm going like, this looks familiar.
yeah,
And
yeah,
what the kind of homespun show I saw there was fantastic. And I'm
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
like, well, this could be what the next stage is.
yeah.
Is that if you're got that creative thing burning in you, you got to start it on your own. You got to find a place to put it up and hope that it catches fire.
Is it a scary thing in the industry, do you think? I mean, you've seen so many changes in the industry over time. Is it something that has scared you in a way, or are you at a point in your career now where, I mean, you've done your credits are amazing. They go for such a long time. Your credits alone, is it something that scares you, or are you at a point now where you're happy doing the voiceovers and you're happy doing little projects that you actually want to do?
I'm happy doing the voiceover, and I'm happy doing the projects I want to do. And I feel oh so grateful
Mm.
that I lived in the era of Martin Scorsese and these great filmmakers and
Mm.
great Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, these great actors and actresses for film. We
Yes.
had great producers, great directors, and I'm glad that I lived in a period of time where I could witness that and even take part in it just a little bit.
Yes.
Alan
Yeah.
Parker in Mississippi Burning, Harold Ramis in Groundhog Day. I
Yeah.
was able
Yeah.
to work with the great people of my time
Hmm.
and realize, well, that time has passed, and now we're on to a new thing. And yes, I'm happy to see what comes next. And you see, I got books behind me I could sit and
Yep.
read. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I could
Yep.
just sit and read, and I don't have to carry the torch anymore. I'm just happy to watch.
And you've got the grandkids as well. Is that, less travel? I mean, you're about to go on a holiday. I mean, I'm not sharing too much about your private life if I just say holiday. But have you taken a holiday in a long time?
Well, I think I'm back to where I used to be. Of my holiday was when I traveled to work,
Yeah.
because work, I guess, since the pandemic, you mentioned the pandemic,
Mm.
I could see now looking back, the pandemic was signaling kind of, if not a causal effect,
Hmm.
certainly a timeline effect of saying this was the end of work in Los Angeles.
Sure,
because the
sure.
studios all shut down during the pandemic, and we all assumed we were coming back. But what happened instead was producers would take their shows elsewhere, to
Hmm.
Seattle, to Portland, uh, to Ohio,
Hmm.
to Utah. I did so many projects in and around Salt Lake City. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so so it moved elsewhere outside of California, and now we're just, you
Now you're
know
going on a holiday.
now we're my wife and I are on a baby watching holiday until
Yep.
somebody calls. What was the last thing? The last thing was working, I guess, in Denver,
Yeah,
shooting
sure.
in Denver, and so I'm going like, oh, and Annie, my wife, is saying, remember, it's the Mile High City, and you're at a different altitude, buddy boy.
Yep, yeah, buddy
So
boy.
so
It's an affectionate
re-
term, is it, buddy boy?
remember, you could get a little, you could get a little exhausted during the day. Drink a little extra water, wear sunscreen.
Yep.
It's a more dangerous city to work in. But,
Yeah.
we shot in Denver. So I'm
Yes.
thinking, okay,
Yeah.
it's a nice way to see, well, the world that you never expected to see. I never expected I'd spend much time in Denver.
Absolutely. Well, Stephen, I have got some, as always, some beautiful people I found on a wonderful website called reddit.com. But before we get into that, has there
Yep.
been anything recently that you've been working on that, apart from this, I mean, the series that might happen on Netflix, has that been a great experience for you to go back into that world and have some fun with a project again? Like instead of, all these projects that have probably been put off for a while and another project that's been on hold.
Yeah.
Has this been a really fun experience again?
Doing Woodstockers, which is the
Yeah.
name of Corbin's show, Woodstockers. Doing that with Corbin and his son
Hmm.
and some of our dear friends, Barbara Harrison, just so many wonderful people involved with the show. Uh, it's been, it felt the same kind of rejuve it felt when I came out to Los Angeles the first time and was doing theater with people I knew from Texas
Mm-hmm.
back then, working on. Jim McClure was my roommate in college, and so doing his play Private Wars or Lone Star, working
Hmm.
on those plays with Jim out here was like, oh, we're doing it in a new venue. And so working with all my old film friends again has been a great experience.
Oh, I love that. And then holiday time, some time with the grandkids, and also listening to some awful confessions on a website called reddit.com, all the way from Melbourne, Australia, which
Oh
I
my
subject you
gosh.
to every once in a while.
Every once in a while, oh, yeah.
Are you ready
I,
to
I
solve some problems?
I'm ready. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and let's see. Now, are these people with problems particularly from Australia, or could they
No,
be
it's
from any?
all around the world. These people
Oh
they don't
dear.
have anywhere where they could be. They could be right behind you right now. They're not. There's a lovely bookcase behind you, but there
Yeah.
could be somewhere in Los Angeles, these people could be hiding. So we've got the first one today that
Yep.
comes from gorgeous Lloyd. Lloyd confesses, I'm having an affair with a married woman. And honestly, it's become difficult to even call it an affair because affairs sound like work, and this is probably the easiest situation anyone has ever accidentally wandered into. I think it's nice to call an affair work. I don't know if it is a lot of work, but this is what he's calling it so far. I'm serious. It's unbelievably easy. People hear affair and imagine stress, secret hotels, fake names, wearing a watch worth removing dramatically. Meanwhile, I'm participating in an affair looking like I've been medically evacuated from a gaming chair. Now he goes on to really explain what this is because that's quite hard to get your head around, I think, in
Yes.
a lot of ways. He thinks he's this amazing writer, but he's writing on Reddit, so I think he should calm down a little bit. The woman at my apartment dressed unbelievably beautifully. Full hair done, expensive coat. She smells incredible. lipstick, jewelry. Meanwhile, I answer the door in grey sweatpants, absolutely covered in Cheeto dust, watching Boston Legal at a volume that suggests I live alone psychologically as well. So he's saying that she's this glamorous woman that has come to his apartment and he has sweatpants on, he's got Cheeto stained fingers, and he's watching Boston Legal. I don't know
And
if there's a sadder
and
description out there.
do we know what she looks like?
Well, we just
We
all
have
we
the
know is she's
big,
quite glamorous.
quite glamorous. And do we know what her husband looks like?
No, we don't. We have no idea about the husband.
Do we know about her children?
We don't know about the children. He's explaining a lot about Cheeto dust, Tobo, but there's nothing
Yeah.
else that we really know
Yeah.
about him at the
Okay.
moment. And she's thrilled to see me. That's the confusing part. I don't even really do anything. She keeps saying things like she's not getting what she needs at home, and apparently what she needs is to come over and watch me pause Boston Legal long enough to say, "Hey, sorry, there's probably clean bowls somewhere." So he's a real grub of a person, I think we're getting from this. And he's watching
And
Boston Legal.
yeah, I mean that's kind of torture enough. I mean, I think
Were
I
you in
was
Boston Legal?
I think I did an episode. I think I may have done an episode of Boston Legal. I'll have to look up my resume, but it sounds familiar. I know I did something legal.
Well, yeah.
I did one of those legal shows. I did several of them, but
But this could be you could have had an affair happening while you're in the background of one of
yes.
these beautiful scenes on Boston Legal. The first time it happened, I thought maybe she was having some kind of episode. She came over for dinner one night in this incredible black dress, looking like she was arriving at a movie premiere. And I was sitting cross-legged on the couch, eating off my own chest because I dropped Cheetos during a William Shatner monologue. She looks at me like I was a forbidden fruit. Forbidden fruit? I have orange fingers. The crazy eating a lot of Cheetos is all we know about him at the moment. The craziest part is how little effort is required from me. She keeps trying to make this affair emotional and cinematic, and I keep accidentally making it incredibly suburban. The the other day she arrived crying because her husband doesn't see her anymore. And while she was pouring her heart out, I absentmindedly said, "Can you move in slightly? You're black blocking Shatner." And she still kissed me. I honestly think Boston Legal is part of the affair now. I think William Shatner is the third person in this relationship. At one point, she said, "Do you even care about me?" And without thinking, I said, "Can we discuss this after the judge's closing remarks?" The worst part is, I'm ashamed to admit this, is we had sex the other night while Boston Legal was still playing, and somehow I still got an episode in. I didn't have to go back. Not even the whole thing interrupted. At one point, I remember hearing James Spader talking in the background and thinking, this is actually a pretty strong subplot. Afterwards, she was lying there doing that thing where people in affairs stare at the ceiling, sadly questioning their lives. And I was just trying to figure out if I'd already seen this episode or not.
Boston Legal.
Of
Yeah.
Boston Legal. Say it with me, Boston Legal. She kept saying, "This is crazy. This is so wrong," while tracing circles on my chest. And I was nodding like, yeah, absolutely. Completely focused on whether Shatner was about to get disbarred. I think what makes me feel guilty is she's risking her whole marriage, and I'm essentially hosting the affair like a guy waiting for a delayed bus. I think if she read this, she wouldn't want to be referred to Tobo as a delayed bus. What an awful
No.
description of a person.
No.
Last week, she bought expensive lingerie for me, and I accidentally got cheese powder on it. She said, "You make me feel alive." I was holding a family sized bag of Cheetos, watching Boston Legal in complete silence. All right, Tobo, that is the first confession today that comes from gorgeous Lloyd. What are your first thoughts that come from hearing this?
Well, first thoughts, she is living in the world of denial. So obviously she doesn't notice the Cheetos or the
No.
Boston Legal. So she's already, there was a story. I think I have this right, that there was a terrible automobile accident, and they had the medical people come and try to extract the people from the car, and it was a terrible thing. And there was one man that survived in the back seat, and he said, I cannot believe I survived this. This is amazing. And the medical people were saying, just stay still for a second. And they were checking his vitals and everything. And the one doctor talked to the other emergency person and said, I don't know what to do. This guy's really dead. He doesn't know it yet. He,
Wow.
he's dead. His internal injuries are
Huh.
so severe. He's he's bleeding out and he doesn't even know it. There's no and
Wow.
and the other person said make him as comfortable as possible
Of course.
and just kind of humor him and just
Put on an
say
episode of Boston Legal.
yeah, and watch Boston Legal and just say take it easy. You know what? Why don't we just rest here for a little bit? I'll get you something to drink. Here, let me put a little blanket on you. But we're resting. We have people coming, and just rest, just relax. So he didn't panic the people, and the fellow eventually just died. But he was dead already.
Wow.
And I think the guy is not having any conversations with this woman.
No.
He doesn't need conversations with her. Right now, he's just an adjunct to her misery.
Yes. Yeah.
And uh, he isn't going to care when she just vanishes one night when she's supposed to come over and ends up not coming over. What always happens in these situations is you don't do the most important thing first, which is she needs to talk to her husband and
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
are we going to do this or not do this?
Hmm.
Because who we're talking to about this story is the guy with the Cheetos on him who's already dead and doesn't know it. You know, he's done. He's not going to be a part of her life at all, anything
No.
like that. She has no intent really of. He is right now just an exit door for her, but she has not been able to have the conversation in a meaningful way with her husband,
Mm.
saying, I feel like we're done. Are we
Yeah.
done?"
I don't feel seen. I don't feel, all these things that are coming up.
And just it just I am so scared. I don't know what I'm going to do. We're done. I
Yeah.
feel in my heart we're done. Do you feel we're done? And if we're done, should we just make it done and
Yeah.
move on with our life? How do you feel? Or if not, shall we move on to something else?
Because I'll be honest.
Shall we try to fix it?
Yeah, because I'll be honest as well, Tobo. I mean, in this sort of situation, it doesn't sound like this guy is a good option. It feels like
No.
he's just there.
We are talking to the flea that's on the back of the elephant, going like, "Well, man, I got the greatest ride in the world,
Literally.
all the blood I want to drink, and the elephant doesn't even mind. It's
Yeah.
amazing." But
She
eventually,
deserves
that
better.
elephant is going to just jump in a mud pit and roll over on her back, and that's going to be it for you. So
Yep.
this guy that's talking, he's already gone. He just is eating his bag of Cheetos, and he may not recognize that he's gone, but he's gone and done. And I feel sorry for her because she is not going to be made happier by feeling like she's seen by this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This guy with the Cheetos is not going to be the guy that needs to see her, whether she's done up or not done up.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. And he loves his James Spader monologues. He's a big fan of watching subplots. He's a big fan of, and there's a lot to get through in Boston Legal. I mean, there's a lot of episodes. You got to get through the Stephen Tobolowsky episode. You got to get, if he is in it, if he in fact is in it, he can't
I
remember.
think I am.
I think
I
he
think
might
I'm.
be. But what, so in this situation, this guy, does he need to do anything, Tobo, in this situation? I mean, he doesn't sound like a great guy. Does he need to kind of push her maybe to have another chat, or maybe don't answer the door anymore? Just continue watching East Boston Legal and eating
I think he
Cheetos?
doesn't care. I don't
No,
think he's the active member of this threesome.
no.
He is just the nothing. But I think what she needs to do is she needs to figure out where she will find her life again, because she's lost her life.
She
And she needs
has.
to find her joy, her passion, what she wants to live for, if it's her children, if it's
Yeah.
what. But her husband has got to not take her for granted, or she needs to find something else. And she doesn't have to find someone else, just something real that she could have passion about.
Absolutely. And don't make it Costco, because I can imagine that's
No,
where he's getting all his bags of Cheetos from and you just run
absolutely.
into
The
him.
big
Yeah.
bags for
The big
Leah.
bags. Well, let's move on to the next one, Tobo, because we've absolutely solved that one. The next one comes from gorgeous Jess. Jess confesses, I became vegan for 4 months because a man once described me as the kind of woman who loves cheese, and I couldn't emotionally survive being perceived that accurately. I love that he was right, and she went,
Yeah,
hold
that
on,
he was
mister.
right.
Yeah, there's no way you've got me like that. Your read is wrong. She's going to change her whole life for that one read. The thing is, he wasn't even being mean. He said it casually. We're at a barbecue and someone asked what food everyone would save from a burning building. And before I could answer, he goes, oh, she'd save cheese. She loves cheese. And everybody nodded like it was established law. Now, Stephen, if you were to save food from a burning building, and look, I don't know why you would be. I think women and children probably first, and get the pets out of the burning building first. But
Yeah.
imagine all the human beings, all the conscious life are out of the building. What food are you running back in and saving? I ask every guest this.
Anything my wife makes. Now
Great,
see,
beautiful.
when and I'm not flattering Anne. I had no idea. I just thought she was cute when I was
Yeah.
dating her. I thought she was just cute. And then I thought she was a good actress. I had no idea what a great cook she was. I mean,
Wow.
she she made a cake from scratch from a recipe from like the 1850s. It was like crazy. And she said, this is a time machine. I want you to taste it. This is what a cake would taste like from the 18, and I'm going like, this is amazing that this person can do this.
Yeah. How do you do that?
You do that by being Anne Hearn. And she's a great, so,
Anything that she's
that's,
making, you go in and save that cake from the
I would
1850s.
I would say that, but from a burning building, I would just save her, because I
Sure.
could get more cake as long as I have her. So it's the people are more important than the food.
That cake would be a little bit too crispy, I think, in a burning building
Too
anyway.
crispy, yeah.
Too
Forget
crispy.
it.
I laughed at the time, but inside something absolutely collapsed because he was right. I do love cheese. Too much, probably. I once ate a burrata alone, standing at the kitchen bench like a raccoon who'd broken into an Italian deli. I've said I'll
That's a
just have
great
a,
image, by the
isn't
way. A
it
raccoon in the
fantastic?
Italian deli. That's great.
Just going to town.
Yeah.
I've said I'll just have a tiny bit before accidentally constructing an entire second meal around halloumi. But hearing someone identify me that quickly made me feel unbearably knowable. I suddenly thought, what else is obvious about me? I see this happens, I think, when someone can see you in a way that is truthful, it often hurts a lot more. I was doing stand up on Tuesday night, Stephen, and I had not worked on my joke properly. It was a new material night. I hadn't properly worked on a joke, and a lady, I said, "Are you having a good time?" to this lady in the audience, and she goes, "I'd be having a better time if you'd worked on that joke a bit better." And like it was, and I was seen, and I dipped my lid to her. I said, well, ma'am, you've absolutely seen me. And of course, in 6 months, this will be great. What's next? Oh, she looks like she owns a candle called Kashmir Library. She definitely says little treat before buying a pastry. She's emotionally dependent on dips. All of these are true. So I panicked and decided I need to become impossible to categorize. So she's forcing a bit of mystery here, Stephen, which I quite like.
I, we go through different stages in our life. If you take a look at the dinosaurs, they went through different
Oh,
stages. You had the little
yep.
then you had the big dinosaurs, then you had the birds. You
Then
know
the
the
Flintstones.
the Flintstones is the last stage of
Yeah,
dino
yeah.
life. But you go through different stages in your life. So, either she can change it or it can
Yes,
change her. At a certain point,
absolutely.
she's going to have one piece of cheese and go like, "That's the last piece of cheese I think
That's the
I'll
last
ever
piece of
have."
cheese. That night, I announced I was vegan in a tone usually reserved for someone entering witness protection. Not gradually either. Full overnight veganism for me. I threw out three cheeses dramatically like I was disposing of hard drives before the FBI arrived. Kind of like you with your VHS machines there.
Yeah, yeah.
The problem is my entire personality was structurally dairy based. Within 2 days, I was wandering supermarkets reading the backs of packets like a divorced dad trying to understand taxes. Milk solids, what are solids? Why are they? I became one of those people constantly asking, wait, sorry, does honey upset the system or are we okay with using bees currently? I bought vegan cheese, which I can only describe as upsetting plastic. One of them melted into a texture I've previously only seen inside of a printer. But I kept going because I needed everyone to know I was not the cheese woman. At cafes, I'd loudly order oat milk while making eye contact with strangers as if I wanted them to whisper, "She's changed." The worst part is, I don't even think anyone noticed except my mother, who asked, "Are you doing this because of that comment about cheese?" Which somehow made me furious because, yes, obviously, yes. Now we're near the end of the confession there, Stephen, but it is interesting, isn't it, that she's obviously told her mum about this, so it has really upset her. This
Hmm.
comment has rocked her whole world, her whole identity.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, keep going, keep going.
Oh. Then one night, after 4 months of psychological warfare against myself, I snapped. I was at a friend's birthday and someone put a baked brie on the table. Not even fancy, just a completely standard brie slowly collapsing in the middle. And I genuinely started sweating. I spent 20 minutes pretending not to look at it, talking too intensely about curtains that I wasn't even interested in, drinking water like I was trying to suppress a medical episode. Finally, someone said, "Do you want some brie?" And without even thinking, I said, "I'm actually exactly the kind of woman who loves cheese." Then I ate so much brie, I couldn't sleep properly. Do I need to tell people that I am a cheese woman and in fact I'm proud of it? Maybe confront that man who said it in the first place.
To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is
Hmm.
a season, turn, turn, turn. A time for cheese, a time for chicken, a time for shrimp, a time for lobster. We change during our life, and I think if she wants to experiment, she could try, I would say, just for the heck of it,
Mm.
go to Thai food for a little bit because I don't think Thai people even know what cheese is. And see
Sure.
and see if you become addicted to Thai food for a little while.
Yeah. Okay.
But there are different stages of our life where we feel the need for something that a chemical or a nutrient that we are not getting. And it
Yes.
may be that she needs the calcium from the cheese, and it may be she needs the fat for energy. So
Yeah.
she should, first of all, she should have a full blood workup done by her doctor. But if that's too expensive, try Thai food and
Yeah.
see if that starts to work. And if you lose the hankering for cheese and instead go for mugu
A
pork
pad
or
thai.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pad thai.
What do you
Yeah,
think in this situation? And you are sponsored by Thai food today. I know, Stephen. You told me we had to mention Thai food at some point.
yeah.
If for you, do you think that she needs to? Because obviously this comment really affected her. Do you think you need some sort of discussion with the person that said it in the first place, or do you think you just need to move on?
I think you need to move on.
Yeah.
You know. I think we talked when I was having my heart difficulties, right? And
Mm,
I
mm,
had heart surgery and all sorts of things.
mm.
And my whole diet had to change. And I would say, like, oh, all the fruit you want. You could have all the fruit you want. You can't have cheese.
Sure.
You can't have red meat. You can't have like steak or red meat. You could have a little bit of lean this or lean that. And it's amazing when your life's at stake, you change your diet pretty quickly.
Sure.
And it does take a while for your taste buds to kind of change. And I think for her, she's just impatient. And if part of her impatience is her labeling herself, she
Mm.
should have more patience in labeling herself too. Don't be
Yeah.
so eager to say that you're Mary the Cheese Girl. Take a breath and say, I could be Mary the Chicken Thigh Girl.
Yeah.
Just give it a break and
Chicken
see if you
thighs for
could
days.
just experiment with
Mm.
what you become addicted to food wise and see if you can latch onto something that's a little healthier for you than just cheese.
Because I don't know about you, Stephen, but I get really like into a food for a bit. Like at the moment I'm into chili con carne.
Mm.
I love a chili con carne. And I really get into a food for a bit. Like a chicken Kiev, I was obsessed with chicken Kievs for a bit.
Yep.
And that's not a good food to to be obsessed with. There was a fried chicken place down the street from where I used to live, and I had to actively avoid walking down that street with my dog because I would just be like, "Oh, I could get some fried chicken tenders." You know?
And I think that's a very healthy behavior pattern you are describing
Yeah.
because you are the man.
Yeah.
You are the one who's calling the shots, and the chicken tenders are not saying, "Hey, Sammy,
No.
Sammy, come on over here. Come on, just get a half dozen, Sammy. Come
Yeah.
on, you can do it."
Yeah, that's right. And I
Don't
didn't
listen to
have
Mr. Man with the chicken.
No, and I didn't have an intervention with the people that were running the place. There was no taking me aside because I was
Yeah.
making them some good money, Stephen, for a while. But I feel like I was putting some of the kids through high school, I believe. But I think in this situation, you don't need to go and confront that person. You don't need to be hung up about this person because this
Right.
person just had a read on you. They just got to a point, a sensitivity that you weren't ready to admit about yourself, and
Right.
that's okay. We all have those.
Yeah. And I think you could. The one thing about it when the person says, "Well, I'll just call you the cheese girl or the cheese lady, whatever,"
Yeah,
that person was telling you the truth
yeah.
because they weren't saying it to get on your good side. They
No.
weren't saying it, hoping that you'll come back for more from them. They were saying it to say, "Listen, you're the cheese lady."
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so that's how you're being seen by the world. And if you don't, that's a gift
Yeah,
to know how the world sees you. And so if you don't like the way the world sees you, you have the power to change it.
absolutely. You're a Thai food girl now. Get over it. That's the advice.
Mugu Gai Pan.
That's right. We've got the next. You had to get that plug in as well. We've got the next confession today that comes from lovely Martin. Martin confesses, I invented a fake girlfriend called Olivia using a woman I cut out of a magazine because I was exhausted by friends setting me up on increasingly impossible dates. And now I've accidentally become trapped inside my own romantic cinematic universe. I know that sounds insane, but you haven't met the women they set me up with. Every single friend suddenly becomes a dating recruiter once you're single past 30. Oh my God, I know the perfect girl for you. No, you don't. You know a woman that's also single. That's different. It started with Sue, who smelt overwhelmingly of egg. Not egg salad, not cooking egg, just egg. Like her body had made an agreement with egg at I can't even say that word,
Molecular.
a molecular level. There was Hannah, who kept taking a tiny mirror out of her handbag every 6 minutes to look at her teeth. Not subtly either, mid conversation. So, what do you do for work? Mirror, front teeth inspection, tongue check, back in the purse. At one point, she checked her teeth while I was telling a story about my grandfather being hospitalized. Then Georgia, dear God, Georgia. Georgia changed outfits 3 times during one date. Three. Not because we went somewhere fancy. We were at a pub, a completely stable pub. No, wardrobe required. She disappeared to the bathroom and came back in a hat, then later a completely different jacket and more of an evening earring. More of an evening earring? I felt like I was dating a magician quick changing behind a curtain. After about the ninth setup, I snapped psychologically. So I invented Olivia. The photo came from a travel magazine in a dentist waiting room. She was standing near a vineyard laughing at something that probably wasn't even in the original context. I cut her out carefully. And honestly, it worked immediately. The second I mentioned Olivia, everyone backed off. No more, you should meet my cousin. No more, she's chaotic, but in a good way. No more women arriving at bars already calling me future husband as a joke that didn't feel fully like a joke. Suddenly, I was protected by Olivia. I gave her a backstory. Graphic designer, grew up in Cairns, lactose intolerant, but brave about it. I don't know why I added detail, but once people started asking questions, I panicked and realized a fake girlfriend with no hobbies looks suspicious. Now, of course, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, if you're inventing a fake girlfriend, people are going to ask questions. You can't just sit there and go, no follow ups. I'm not answering questions at this time.
Does your letter say how old this person is that's
It
being
says
set up?
30s. So
In
I
his
imagine,
30s.
well, let's just say like mid 30s. Oh, Olivia can't make it tonight. She's interstate. Olivia loved that restaurant. Olivia says hello, by the way. I even fake texted her once under the table because my friend said, let me see a photo. So now there are multiple photos. I had to go back to the dentist and find more magazines, find this girl online featuring the same model like I was tracking a fugitive through European publications. The worst part is everyone loves Olivia. People say, you seem happier. My friends say, she sounds wonderful. I am happier because nobody's making me go on dates with women who bring their own herbal tea bags to pubs anymore. But now, here's the problem. Because 2 weeks ago, I met an actual real woman at a trivia night and I genuinely really like her. She's funny, normal, beautiful. She laughed at all my jokes about garlic bread. I don't know why he's got so many jokes about garlic bread. That feels like a
No,
weird,
yeah,
weird
that's
thing.
a stretch.
We talked for 3 hours. I walked home feeling like someone in a movie who suddenly starts noticing music. Then my mate goes, oh, I was going to set you two up a few months ago, but obviously you're with Olivia. Olivia, the fake vineyard woman, the paper hostage I created. Now, I don't know what to do because this lie has become structurally important to my entire social circle. People ask about Olivia constantly. My own friend knitted her a scarf. Can I tell the truth or do I have to fake Olivia's death? If so, she would die peacefully or in a small but character building vineyard accident. What do I do? All right. Stephen, what do you think in this situation?
Well, the tortured answer is you don't have to kill her. Olivia just has to move to another
Yeah.
city, get a
Yep.
job, and then she writes the Dear John letter back saying, I
Oh,
found someone else working at the Coca-Cola bottling company where I'm working at here in
yeah.
Toronto.
I'm a
And
CEO now. Really
I'm a,
build up the lie
yeah,
of
you
her.
know, it was nice knowing you and that, but you only do that after, you've had your date with this person that
Yeah.
does make you feel seen, that
Yep.
does make you feel as a man like this is someone I'd like to spend time with. This is the more time I
Yeah.
spend with her, the more time I want to spend with her. And then Olivia can just can dump you. She could
Yeah, she
go
can
to
dump
another
you.
town and then she writes you the dump you letter and you could read this letter to your friends after you have your
Yeah.
other girlfriend. You don't
She
want to do
says,
it beforehand or they'll set you up some more.
no, she says, Dear John, I've become a CEO at a massive Coca-Cola company, a subsidiary, and I am killing it over here. I've met someone else. His
Yes.
name is James Spader.
Yeah,
and we're very much in love.
just
Do you
like the one on TV.
just like the one on TV, very similar to him. Do you think there's any way? So after that, then you have a grieving period, obviously, for this relationship, and after a while, then you can be set up with this person. A fake grieving
Well,
period, obviously.
I don't know about the grieving period. I
Okay,
could see that you could
bounce
be
back.
actually kind of pissed off
Oh,
that
great.
she
Okay.
dumped you like this and saying like,
Yep.
because sometimes angry sex is good.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you could
Yep.
just say, she dumped me, but
But I'm back.
why don't we just take a walk in the park and I'll
Yeah.
get over it by looking in your eyes and let me take you to dinner and I'll get over it
Beautiful.
by yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Okay, that's the only way forward because you can't kill her off. I think that is going
No.
one step too far. You can't
Too
be like,
far and
yeah,
just let her
too
be in love
painful.
with another guy.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine saying she died in a plane crash or something, and then you have to continue that lie forever.
Yeah.
That's another
And
lie
then
that you now have to maintain.
which plane crashed? Let me look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you don't want to do that. Well, let's move on to the final confession today that comes from gorgeous Bessie. And I will ask you to cast one of these as a major motion picture in the end, so keep that in mind. You've got
Okay.
this one that comes from Bessie. Bessie confesses, I've spent the last 18 months stealing my best friend's ornamental plates one by one because she refused to give them to me, and honestly, it feels like the perfect crime. I know that doesn't sound too ridiculous, but you haven't seen the plates. They were these decorative little ceramic plates people hung on walls for absolutely no practical reason. Tiny painted cottages, fruit. One had a goose in a hat. That's right, a goose in a hat. Another had a windmill for reasons unknown. Completely useless objects. Suddenly, I wanted them more than stability. Every time I went to her house, I'd stare at them thinking, you don't even appreciate what you have. And I asked nicely at first, I said, if you ever get rid of these plates, let me know because I'm obsessed with them. She laughed and said, no, they're my treasures. That was honestly the thing that pushed me into crime. Because if they're treasures, then why are they hanging in the hallway beside a laundry cupboard where nobody can even really experience them properly? So I started planning. And before everyone judges me, this was not a chaotic stealing. This was organized, surgical, the perfect crime. Now, I feel like anyone that continually says the perfect crime, it probably wasn't the perfect crime in this.
Probably not.
Probably
Yeah.
not. I bought bubble wrap specifically for the operation. I kept it folded in my satchel like a ceramic assassin. Like a silencer, I guess. Thinking here. The first plate was terrifying. My heart was pounding. We were having wine. She went to the bathroom. I calmly removed the smallest plate, a tiny hand painted lemon situation, wrapped it in bubble wrap with the precision of a museum archivist, and slid it in my bag one by one. That was the genius of it. You can't notice one ornamental plate missing immediately because nobody on Earth has ever known exactly how many ornamental plates they have. But I do. She noticed something eventually, but not enough. A few months in, she stood in the hallway and went, I feel like there used to be more plates. And I said, no, I think you're noticing the spacing now. The spacing. I created fake plate spacing psychologically to cover my tracks. This is person's a psychopath, I think, at the moment, Stephen, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Meanwhile, my apartment slowly started becoming entirely decorated with stolen countryside ceramics. I'd sit there at night looking at them like a war general surveying captured land, one by one. The bubble wrap became part of my routine. I'd arrive at her house already prepared, satchel slightly heavier on one side, mentally selecting targets. The hardest one was the big rooster plate because it required two hands and commitment. At one dinner party, I excused myself halfway through dessert specifically to steal the plate. And the craziest thing is, she started suspecting random people. At one point, she blamed her cleaner. I had to sit there nodding sympathetically while a goose plate wrapped in bubble wrap sat behind a muesli bar in my handbag. The perfect crime. last month she finally realized how many were gone because she had found an old photo of the hallway and she actually gasped, "Oh my God, half the plates are missing. Half. And because I apparently now am mentally unwell, instead of feeling guilty, I felt mostly proud of the consistency, one by one. She's talking now about installing cameras, which feels excessive considering some decorative farm themed sauces nobody's ever eaten of. Now, anyway, I'm confessing because she came over to my apartment the other day, looked directly at my own wall of plates and said, "Well, these are gorgeous. Where did you find these?" And I said, "Oh, here and there. What do I do?" Stephen, what do you think of this? Stealing from a friend.
Well, she's definitely a psychopath.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. This is evil, and the
Pure.
thing obviously that she appreciated was she just wanted to steal something from this person, and
That's
she
right.
wanted to see how much she could get away with it. They didn't mean anything to her either. And
No.
she put him on the wall, and I don't think she really appreciates him that much either. But I think you know this is the kind of person that scares me a lot because she has a kind of malleable conscience. There is not a surefire thing where she would say, "Well, this is wrong, this is evil." That these plates, they. First of all, her first supposition is wrong because Annie and I, we have our children's drawings
Sure.
that they did in school, and we put them in the laundry room. Not because it's a wasted place, but because it's going to be safer in the laundry room because no one's going to be banging in there, knocking them off walls or hitting them.
Sure.
When we'll have these children's drawings in our laundry room preserved and safe, as opposed maybe in the hallway where they get bumped and fall and whatever.
Yeah.
So this woman's going to end up with a bunch of plates that she doesn't care about. And she's going to end up having to steal something else from somebody. And eventually, it's all going to come down on her, and she will either end up in prison for the rest of her life, depending upon what she steals, but she certainly will end up with no friends.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think
This is
you, yeah. Do you think that you
this is the
need
road
to,
to no friends.
oh, absolutely. Do you think you need to confess? Do you think you need to just go and take the plates back at this point?
Uh, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say like this. Well, she's going to lose this person as a friend anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I think I would put the plates in a box
With
and
bubble
put the
wrap?
bubble wrap all and put them at her door like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
delivery. Mail them to her.
Great.
Mail them to her to where it's just mysteriously this box with all the plates comes
Yep.
with maybe, and she'll speculate maybe it was a cleaning person, maybe it was somebody, I don't know.
Yeah. Free the cleaning
But
person. Don't write from sender cleaner on the back. Like you don't even know their
no,
name. Just write cleaner.
it's
Definitely
it's
the
a
cleaner it
it's
says on the
a
back.
she's the kind of person that could steal money from your pocket and not, well, she doesn't need that 20.
No, I
She,
don't trust her one bit.
yeah, or take a book from your bookshelf and keep it, in your underwear drawer. She
Yeah.
not knowing what she's. You see behind me, my wall of crap.
Yeah.
This is all
I
like
wouldn't
my
say
wall.
crap. You've got a beautiful horse there. You've got a lovely mug. You've got
So that
a
horse
plaque.
was made for me by Biff McGuire when I opened on Broadway.
Wow.
And Biff made that horse. He carved that horse and made it. Julie Haggerty gave this Homer doll to me on our opening night on Broadway, mornings at 7. She played my girlfriend and I played Homer, and she made this Barbie doll. But for other people, this would be just a wall of crap. This is
Right.
like junk. But for me, it's valuable. So she needs to return these things saying, these have now been, just let it be a mystery if you want, but just I
Yeah.
don't know. I would apologize. Yeah, there's no way out for her when you've stolen all this stuff. There's no
There's
way out
no
for
way
her.
out. There's no way out. And you just
Yeah,
need to
no.
move on with your life. Maybe free her from the friendship as well. Maybe just move on because you're a
Yeah,
psychopath.
definitely. Just say my apologies. Uh, I was envious,
Yeah.
and I'm not envious anymore. You know the difference between jealousy and envy? Do you
What's
know
that?
that?
No.
Well, you see, because jealousy is a little sin, but envy is a cardinal sin, right? So they divide the two as two different. Jealous is when you have something that I want. That's jealousy, and that is a little sin. Envy is a big sin, and that is you have something, I want it, and I don't want you to have it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Envy is
Yeah.
I want your thing and I don't want you to have it. That's why that is a cardinal sin. One of the seven deadly sins is because don't want them to have it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's why that's a special sin.
Oh, and green is not a good color on her. She just needs to move on with her life and find some other friends.
Green's not a good color on anybody,
Apart
almost.
from
It's
Kermit the Frog and Shrek.
you you have a kind of green jacket on now, don't you?
I
That's kind
do.
of
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. It's greenish.
It's kind
Yeah.
of has a kind of nice military look
Yeah,
on you.
it's my
Yeah.
envy, my envious jacket. It's jealous of the rest of my clothing. Now, at the end
Yeah.
of that, we've had four beautiful confessions from four beautiful people. If you had to cast one of these as a major motion picture, which one springs out the most? You've got Bessie, who, of course, stole the plates from her friend. You've got Martin, who invented a fake girlfriend called Olivia. You've got Jess, who became a fake vegan. And you've got Lloyd, who is having an affair while watching Boston Legal and eating Cheetos.
I think the fake girlfriend.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? The fake
I
girlfriend.
think Olivia, the fake girlfriend, that
Yeah,
turns out to be the real, because the envy one is going to be too scary in
too
terms it's
dark.
too dark. But I think inventing this girlfriend to where you're busy and then actually falling in love would be kind of a delightful story.
Absolutely. Who do you think would play Martin in this situation? Like, do you see it as a comedy? Do you see it as a drama? Is it a
Oh,
psychological thriller?
I see it definitely as a comedy and
Yeah.
kind of comedy.
Yeah. Maybe like a Paul Rudd or someone as Martin or uh, Seth Rogen.
Well, Well, Seth's, yeah, certainly he could do it, but I think it'd be nice if it was someone a little younger now. I mean,
Oh, okay.
when it's somebody that's in their 40s or 50s, it gets a little pathetic.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Yeah.
it has to be somebody kind of in their late 20s, something like this.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I don't know too many actors in their late 20s, but we could
No.
maybe get like a Jason, what's it? Elordi's hot right now. Jason Elordi from Wuthering Heights. Is it Jason
Oh,
Elordi? Yeah,
I
but
don't know him,
maybe
but
someone like him. I think that's his name. Elordi is definitely his surname. We could get someone
yeah,
like that, and maybe Margot Robbie could be in there as well, just because they could kind of
she's
recast.
yeah, she's beautiful, but again, she may be too old for this kind of a show.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Yeah. Okay.
you really need somebody who's, kind of late 20s, early
Yeah, got the
30s to do
grit.
this.
What about the main actor in Hacks? The
Oh,
not yeah, she's good. She's great. The
oh yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
writer and creator. She'd be great as Olivia.
They're they're both terrific. Yeah, they're both
Yeah,
terrific.
great. Well, let's get Jean Smart in there just if we can. Let's get her
Absolutely.
in there. Absolutely, she should be in everything.
She should be in everything. Gene and I, when I was working at Hartford Stage Company, it was the first time Gene Smart was in the play that was on before our play was going to be the next play on.
Right.
So we were rehearsing when her play was performing, and that was the first time I met Gene Smart. And the
Wow.
first time I bought her a drink, I think, was there was a bar up on the hill in Hartford, Connecticut called the Asylum. And so
Mhm.
I think I bought Jean a drink at the asylum, and I was looking at her and going like, this could be one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life. And we all think of Jean as like somebody who's funny, who's smart, who's
Yeah.
talented, but I got to tell you, absolutely drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
beautiful and maybe smart because
beautiful.
it's also her surname. Smart by name, smart by nature. Jean
Yep.
Smart. That could be on a business card.
That could be. She had a great deal of sympathy for me when I had my heart trouble.
Oh, sure.
She
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
know all about it, and I told her all about it because she said, heart problems run in her family too.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
she
Oh, you
just
can
wanted to know
understand it.
what was going to happen. I said, well, hopefully you'll be healthy as a hound, my love.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm going to leave the casting to the beautiful people who listen to this podcast because we don't know enough young actors, and we're casting young for this. So I'm going to say, Sydney Sweeney's probably in there at some point, maybe a
Yes.
Zendaya, maybe a Tom Holland, someone like that. I'm just throwing out names, and I want to hear from you, listeners, because we have given up on casting this.
Oh, we
But
got the show. We gave you
we
the
got the
show.
show. We gave you the show. The rest is yours, as we say. That's showbiz, baby. We'll give you the crumbs. Stephen Tobolowsky, how do people find you? Are you plugging anything at the moment? Is there anything going on for
I'm not
you?
plugging anything, but keep
No.
everybody's fingers crossed for
Yes.
Woodstockers
Cross them
because
right
we're
now.
of that age. Woodstockers, where I play a 70-year-old stoner, and
Yes.
it's really delightful. And with Corbin Burnson, and we're both stoned constantly, and it's very delightful. And keep your fingers crossed that it ends up somewhere on Netflix if we get lucky.
Oh, absolutely. Well, keep your fingers crossed right now. I'm crossing mine right now, both of them. Stephen Tobolowsky, thank you so much for joining me on Confessions.
I love it, Sammy. I love it.
Great to see you again.
Good to see you, sir.